During this recording, I'm going to be talking through Jim's lifestyle evaluation interview. When talking to my client about physical activity, one of their strengths was that they used to play basketball but stopped when he was a teenager at about age 19. He said he really enjoyed it and liked physical activity as a whole, but due to other life commitments, he had to rethink his priorities, so basketball was one of the things he had to sacrifice. Although Jim isn't doing the recommended amount of physical activity, a positive is that he's knowledgeable about sport and being physically active as a whole. Moving forward and helping my client, this is a positive as I'm able to use the knowledge he has already had in his old love for sport and turn him back into a physically active person. Jim also considers himself a very optimistic person, however, there are negatives. He stated that he doesn't have much energy to do daily tasks such as walking up flights of stairs at uni. Also, linking physical activity to his job being a lifeguard, if he finds that he doesn't have the energy to take part in daily tasks, then this could put himself and other people in danger when at work. This is because he may not have the strength and energy to retrieve someone from the water that is struggling. This also may jeopardise his job in general. Being a lifeguard, every now and then they undergo tests to make sure they still have the skill to go in the water and save someone if need be. If he no longer has the strength and energy to do this, then this may lead to him losing his job because he is no longer up to the standard of being able to be a lifeguard. However, a positive out of this is that he enjoys his job, so this may push him to be more physically active. Another factor which I have to take on board is that he suffers from joint pain. He said that since stopping basketball, he has noticed a slight pain in his knees. This is negative because he said that the thought of physical activity is putting him off because he doesn't want to add strain to his knee, making it feel any worse than it already does. The next factor I spoke to Jim about was alcohol. When speaking to Jim, he stated that he mainly consumes alcohol at the weekend when he goes to uni parties, and his preferred drink is beer. He said that this happens mostly every week, sometimes on both Friday and Saturday nights. When talking about alcohol, he said that he never goes overboard. He stays within his limits so he can control himself, but he said he definitely goes over the recommended 14 units of alcohol per week. I then followed up by asking him how many pints of beer he would on average consume during a week, and he said around 8 to 10. Not only does he drink at the weekends, but he said that he drinks during the week if he has a late start the next day or a couple of mates have come over. This is definitely a weakness for Jim at the moment because not only is beer calorific, he is drinking way over the limit. However, although this is bad, he stated that drinking during the week is something that he is aware that he should cut down on. With him already knowing this is a great start moving forward, as he has the mindset that things need to change. When he goes out drinking, he has a really good time with his mates. He doesn't see this having any current impacts on his life. The next factor I spoke to Jim about was diet. When talking to Jim about his diet, he said he relies a lot on fast food and quick and easy meals every day. He said he hasn't actually cooked since he moved into his accommodation at uni because he doesn't know how to cook apart from basic foods like pasta. He also said that he gets fast food and takeout because they're convenient. He doesn't want to come home after a long day doing uni work and come back from financial work to cook himself a meal, so he just goes with the easiest option. This is a concern because fast foods have a tendency to be very high in fat and in general very bad for you. Growing up, he said that his parents cooked healthy meals for him every day, and since leaving for uni has put on a bit of weight. He says he now uses food for comfort when he doesn't feel great about himself. He also stated that he doesn't get his 5 a day. This is a huge negative. Although he said that it doesn't have an impact on his daily life, it may start to if he continues to eat the way he is. He needs the energy, especially for his job being a lifeguard, as it can be very physically active at times and people have to rely on him. He also says that he doesn't have the energy to take part in being physically active. A huge part of this may be because of his diet not providing him with the energy he needs for his daily life, therefore making him feel weak and not have much energy. The next factor I spoke to Jim about was stress. When talking to Jim about stress, he said that he isn't overly stressed. If he was to measure his stress on a scale of 1 to 10, he would be about a 4. I asked him what his main causes of stress were when he is stressed, and he mainly said when he has uni deadlines and exams, and also financial stress. But when he is stressed, he feels he can manage it. He said that when it comes to stress, he tries to be as optimistic about things as he can, so tries to look at it as in a positive light and uses it as motivation instead of it letting him get him down and get any worse. He also said that going out with his mates at the weekend definitely helps with his stress levels and mental health in general, and from this he finds he can have a good balance of social life and work life. This is definitely a positive. If he already has an optimistic outlook on situations, this may help with his motivation to want to change his habits and lifestyle. However, at the same time, it is important that when changing things, this doesn't add more stress to his life. The final factor I spoke to Jim about was smoking. I asked Jim if he smokes, and he says yes, he does. I then followed up from that with when did you start, and he said he started smoking about 2 years ago when he started uni. I then asked why and how he started, and he said that it's because his friends at uni smoke, so it was just a habit he picked up from them, really. They smoke, so when they all went to the smoking area on a night out, he didn't want to seem antisocial, miss out, so he went with them and picked it up from there. He mentioned that he knows the risks of smoking, but growing up it wasn't something his parents did, so he didn't really think too much into it as it's kind of normalised for him, he said. He said that it doesn't majorly affect him financially at the moment, but he can tell a slight drop in his money more recently, where he started to smoke a lot more. But he definitely thinks it hasn't changed him as a person. I think for Jim, this is definitely one of the main negatives, as he isn't really aware of the impacts that smoking can have on his life. He may not see it now, but long term it may start to have an impact on him.